Today we're looking at forced perspective, and which can be a fun one. Let's take a look at some examples, and I'll show you what a forced perspective is. Basically, forced perspective is when you're playing with your foreground and background, and your things that are sizes. So this truck here, this toy truck, was not photoshopped in. It was actually, somebody is actually holding it closer to the camera and putting it in the right size and angle so it actually looks like it belongs, okay? And so, this is where you can have, like, if you've ever seen where you can squish people by putting your hand in front of your camera. That's exactly what forced perspective is, okay? So there's actually somebody off to the side. You can see, you can't see the back of the little toy truck. Somebody's actually holding on to the back of that truck and putting that into place closer to the camera and just putting it in a way where it looks like it belongs, okay? And that's what forced perspective is. Let's take a look at some examples. The examples I'm going to show you are ones, not only student ones, but some internet ones that are pretty good, okay? Like, for example, this is one off the internet. This one is where there's just lights happening in the background. Like maybe these are a string of lights here, and then like say on a patio, and for whatever reason, maybe this was like a bush full of lights on them, and so they just made it look like these lights they're just blurry in the background, and so they just position that pot exactly where it belongs, and the chopsticks exactly where they belong, in order to make it look like they are grabbing the lights. The same thing, I've seen students do the same thing with Christmas lights, and I'll show you some other examples here. These are some examples I got off the internet here. People having some fun together here. So, like, obviously this guy here, he's like going to stomp on this person. These guys have positioned themselves in like a big pot, and this person is getting, these people are getting attacked by a toy Godzilla. This is a student one. A student is actually drawing these lines. Now, a secret to making this a successful perspective distortion, or sorry, our distortion here with perspective, is everything needs to be clear. Sometimes when you have some things in the foreground or background, one of them is going to be blurry and one of them is going to be crisp. Very, very important. Everything has to be crisp. Except if, like in this case, it's blurry in the background on purpose because we don't want to recognize them as lights. We just want to see them as like these white glowing balls that he seems to be throwing up right now. But this is a good example of everything being crystal clear. Okay, the guy is like he's being poured out of the water jug here. And then he's blowing on them and blowing them off his hand. It's kind of fun. Sometimes you can just time it just perfectly. That's pretty amazing, where he was able to capture that plane right in midair like that, and he just puts his hand up in the exact spot so it looks like that must have taken a number of times in order to get this perfect. I've seen this a couple of times, as well as like the photographer must be right there just saying, okay, put it up just a little bit more, and he's just trying to make it. I wonder if he's from Montreal. This is a student one. Apparently the student is pooping out his girlfriend. This is a fun one. So they actually put the lightsabers on the chalkboard. Don't know how much this is forced perspective, but it was still clever enough for me to include. It was kind of a neat idea. This is a student one. This is beautiful. A student did this. Not only is this a silhouette from the previous category, but so they're just making it look like the sun is lighting up the light bulb. So the sun is a light in the light bulb. That's excellent, top quality stuff. Okay, somebody's about to get stomped by a running shoe. That's all right. That works. Another wonderful one. So this person used their Christmas tree and just put a spray can that is spraying out the spray of lights, okay? And they just put their camera on an angle to make it look like that. But that's actually just a Christmas tree in the background, although it looks like they're spraying lights. Another one of the best ones that I've ever received. Okay, this guy, he's bending the sign in the parking lot, but he's not. That's a neat one. So that's the moon in behind actually, I think it's the moon. I don't know if it's a moon for sure or just a single light in behind that's blurry in behind. Now, this is an example of one, but you can see how it's struggling because this is blurry. And so it would help the illusion way better if everything was crystal clear. So that's something that you just got to watch out for when you do it with your camera. It also helps with have everything with lots of light to help with that. Just trust me on that. Like that, when everything's crystal clear there, somebody's getting stomped on. This poor mom is about to get lit on fire. This is awesome. I love that. That poor mom. She's a good mom. Now, these next few ones are going to be bad, and the reason why they're bad is because the illusion is lost because of some things are blurry and some things are in focus. Like actually everything's blurry. Like the camera is focusing on this area right here. The boot's not in focus and these people in the back are not in focus right now. So like just don't give it to me if it's out of focus. This one was a neat idea. This person was very clever with it. I don't know if they did the flash on purpose to try and illuminate their paintbrush, but the paintbrush is blurry, and that is just wrecking the whole thing. These ones, it's too bad. The next ones are so they tried really hard, and they did their composition, and they are very well thought out and very good job. And I felt so bad for them, but the illusion is lost because the rose in the foreground is blurry. Would have been so much nicer had they been everything in focus. Same thing, same person, but it would have been better. It's actually a really neat idea to have the petals and the rose petals like that being the dress of the ballerina. It's actually very clever, and I really do like it. And if somebody were to give me this, I would still give them an excellent mark, but please just watch out that everything, try to have everything in focus. It's just, if you give me a concept that is this good, I'm going to give you a good mark regardless, just for effort. Again, so this one, blurry, and actually it looks like this area is in focus here. So nobody's in focus here. And that's it. Okay, so that's about forced perspective. Let's see what you can do.